Hello my dear friends, this is PaintyKat. My name is Catherine and today I wanna introduce to you my new tutorial. We're gonna paint with acrylic again. I really like this kind of paint and this is a winter landscape. Interesting moment here, I'm not gonna use a water, at least not for painting. I'm gonna just clean brushes with it and I wanna demonstrate to you acrylic retarder and how to use it. I have a local brand here, it's called Sonat. I tried some others as well, they all basically the same, just consistency can be a little bit different. I like to have a little portion in a plastic cup, just in case, you know, if you will put a brush with acrylic on it straight in a jar, you will leave a little bit of color each time, and soon acrylic retarder in a jar will be dirty, so I like to keep it clear, so using small portion. This painting, it's a landscape, winter sunset. This tutorial, it's a demonstration version, real time going for 2 hours and 10 minutes, and it's available in my creative club. Welcome, you have a link down below. Join me. Here in a demonstration version, we're gonna talk about main moments you need to know while you using retarder and while you're painting. Acrylic retarder also making color mix a little bit thinner. Consistency more creamy. I like to paint with it because with the retarder blending process going more easy, actually much more easy, because the main issue with acrylic, it's drying quite fast. So if you're planning a sky with many colors. Today here it's a simple gradient, isn't it? From a lemon yellow to the white. On the top part I used almost just a clear white, so it's easy to blend, but if you're planning to use many colors there, you will find out while you've been planning, first colors already dried and last colors still wet a little bit, so blending going not that easy. With a retarder, you have no this issue at all. You can plant some spots, some colors without blending. When you like colors, you can start to blend. And this time, you know, retarder giving you at least 20 minutes. Compare amount of retarder in a mix. Question about how much it can be added in a color mix. You know, there is no exact recipe like 3 grams of acrylic and 2 grams of a retarder. You have just to try it and you will find out from your own experience what amount is really comfortable for you, because when you're just learning, you may like to have more time for blending, like 30 minutes, 40 minutes. When you're already experienced at least a little bit, you just don't need that much time. You can add a less acrylic retarder. This way you will have a better pigmentation of colors and you will need to do less layers. Again, blending, it's not the main technique in acrylic paintings. Main one, it's a layering. You can see how gentle my colors looking right now, right? It's happened because I added lots of retarder in a mix. Really pigmented orange became a very thin and pale, a very soft and pastel shade on my canvas. But I can control shapes, I can control color, and as soon as I like it, I can start to blend. How it's possible to blend? First of all, it's blending with a brush. Just remember you have to clean your brush. After each blending, I mix together this violet and orange. Also, I want to blend a little bit this edge on the bottom part of the cloud. But remember, clean your brush really well, because right now I'm blending orange and yellow. Before I was blending violet and orange. It's possible to blend with the fingers. This is not a big size of the painting. It's a 20-30 centimeters canvas on board. So a finger giving a less control on the area you making a blend, right? So for better control, I like to use small brushes. For big canvas, for big paintings, you can blend with the fingers as well. This is a very delicate sunset, bright. Also, I'm not planning to create sun, those circle with white. No, imagine sun already went. But some light from the sun still visible. This way you're gonna see light, sunlight on the bottom part of the clouds, and on the top part you will see a shadow there. This color, this violet color, you can use just a violet deep. But if you like to practice some color mixing, I recommend to you to use a carmine and a phthalo blue together, because this way, each time you're blending, you get a little variation, color variation, and it will give to your painting really a rich effect, because violet gonna be not the same everywhere. At some area, it will be more pink. At some area it's gonna be a little bit blue. It's looking very beautiful. About bottom part of the composition, it's gonna be a small lake or maybe a river with a really calm water, and this is an area to practice blending again. When you're using acrylic retarder and blending in general, important moment, use a nice amount of acrylic. Because if you will use not enough, it will give you a really thin layer, and it will be tricky to feel all those structure in a canvas, those white dots. By the way, in a real-time tutorial, I will demonstrate how to fix those white dots, because I had a special request from my patron. So yeah, there we talking about it more detailed. As soon as underpainting layer for lake done, and for snow it's dark violet, and for lake and reflection it's yellow and orange. So as soon as you blend this area, let's detail background forest. This is a black color. I don't really like to use just a clear black there. I like to mix it with violet. And my brush here, it's a natural Bristol brush, kind of rough one. It's giving soft edges for forest back there. Is it possible to use a hairdryer to make a drying process faster? Yes, it is, but still you will need to spend more time if you're painting with a retarder compared to those acrylic you're using just a water. How possible to understand if it's dried completely or not? You have to try it with your fingers. If a surface, if a canvas is still a little bit sticky, it means you need to dry it a bit more. If it's matte and not leaving any thickness to your fingers, it means you can go to the next step and next layers. For snow, on the painting color, it's a dark violet, so next you can go with a lighter and lighter colors. But here for the snow, there gonna be no clear white. Look how interesting this brush stroke looking. Same time it's contained a little bit of violet, really visible spots of the blue, and some light blue color. I put color like a long brush stroke and blending. Look what's happened if it's not enough amount. Blending looking not smooth, isn't it? It's looking sporty, so you have to add more acrylic and only after you will be able to blend it smoothly. Let's create Coastline. I like to do it with a dotted line first and with a small brush. It's a flat oval brush from the set, it's a number 4. And as soon as I like the line, I can go with a bigger amount of acrylic. This way it's really easy to fix or correct Coastline if at some points you will not like some details. Color already very light, by the way, and you can take a look how I'm mixing. It's looking as a flower with 4 petals. 2 petals on top and 2 petals on bottom part. Right on top I have a colors. It's a saturated violet. So in this spot, in this petal, let's say on the left side, I already mixed carmine and phthalo blue. Another petal on top, on the right part, it have more blue than a carmine. On the bottom, on the right, those petals have a much lighter shade. It's the same violet and white. It's a 4th petal. This way, in the center of this huge area, I can get exactly those shades I need at the moment. I can get a little bit lighter, like a half tone lighter than before. I can get a tiny bit darker than I'm working at the moment because colors already mixed all around and just in the center I'm getting exactly those color I want to. Try this way. As for me, I find it's a really handy way of mixing. It's a mixing from mixed colors already. As soon as in this tutorial we're using retarder, this mixing going quite nice. If you will use the same with just a water, petals gonna dry fast. So with water it's not same handy. Snow looking very soft, really blended, no any sharp lines there, only sharp line, it's a coast around the lake. And next it's a silhouette of the forest in a middle ground and on a foreground. Different brushes, it can be flat oval, it can be watercolor brushes with small numbers like a number 1 or 3. It can be a line brushes also because it's giving really long lines. First you have to plan thicker trees and important to create a random looking trunks. Some of them thicker, some are thinner, they are not straight. And by the way, if you need a sketch, a traceable for shapes of the forest of those trees, you can find it on my Patreon. You can download it, transfer those lines you need. Of course, please dry your painting before, then you have to put sketch on top and transfer just those shapes you need at the moment. How to transfer lines, I have a really short tutorial about it on my channel. It's just 2 minutes instruction, short one, and if you like to use traceables, just take a look. Next, as soon as all main shapes done, we have to add tiny lines. It's gentle tweaks, it's looking as a knot. What kind of brushes I like to use? It's a line brushes because it's give it so long lines. It can be curved a little bit. Of course, it's a random crisscross. It's really hard to keep all these shapes in a memory. So I like to use photo references for it, and I have my own library. I collecting some photos I really like, and when I'm painting similar landscapes like this one, I like just open it. Some of those photos I did by myself, just with my mobile phone, you know. So if you're walking around, if you find some really interesting looking tree with a beautiful branches, make a photo, keep it, and later for your future paintings you can use some shapes and natural looking details. Next, it's detailing on lake area. Important part here, it's shadows from the snow on the water. It's looking just as a thin dark line. I'm using just black. Brush still very thin, and the same for small puddle on the left part. Here brush can be a little bit bigger. This is a flat and slanted brush. And now when all details are almost done, it's possible to understand if snow looking light enough, or maybe it's a good idea to give some highlights on snow. It's hard to catch this moment when silhouette not done yet, because forest here it's the darkest detail, and all other highlights, halftones, they really depends on it. Highlight, it's still very light but violet color. I like to blend it a little bit. It's again blending. Put spot of highlighting and blend it. All lines here have to be soft enough. What important to know about acrylic retarder? It's contain an extra amount of acrylic polymer. This polymer always contains in acrylic. Basically paint, it's have three main ingredients. It's a pigment, color, it's a water, and it's acrylic polymer. It's a really important ingredient because it's giving to paints a long-lasting ability and elasticity. That's fine, that's okay if you're using just water while you're painting, but it can be an issue if you use just water for glazing, for example. For glazing, we usually need a tiny amount of paint and lots of water. This way, as soon as there are not enough of a polymer layer can be ruined easily, you can just try to scratch. If it's possible to remove after a day or two from a canvas, it means you have to use an extra polymer in any way. So this way you need to use special mediums. Acrylic retarder, it's a medium that contains water, special ingredient that prevent fast drying, and which is important, no color at all. It's not changing colors in any way, but it's helping to blend and paint's not losing important qualities. I really like to paint with this medium, and if you never tried it before, I can highly recommend it to you. Well, it was a little bit of technical information about this paint and retarder, and as for this painting, let's add a reflection. Reflection, you know, I like to paint it a little bit more loose, not same solid as forest looking right now, those trees and trunks. So I like to use half dry brush stroke, and of course you have to reflect at least main trees, tiny lines, you know, tiny branches and twigs, no need to count, but main ones need to be reflected. Last detail here for the water, it's highlights and reflections on a surface of the water. There is no big waves, so it's very almost not visible thinnest lines with a light violet color, and I like to use flat slanted brush because it have a very sharp edge and consistency. It's half dry again. This way I'm not leaving a lot of acrylic on top of the surface, just a tiny bit. Also, if you like to, you can add some extra trees, maybe a little bit of a gentle tweaks on a foreground, and that's it. I tried my best to explain all moments about acrylic retarder use, but if you still have any questions, don't be shy to ask me. You can join my Patreon. There you can send me photos of your painting if you have some special questions about moments in a process. Thank you very much for joining me today. Thank you for your support. This is how my painting looking. If you like it, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss new tutorials. Welcome on my Instagram. Share to me your paintings based on my tutorials. I'm really happy when I can see it. Just don't forget #PaintyKat. I wish you all the best. I'll see you later. It was a PaintyKat. Bye bye.